Welcome to UK Disclosure on the 22nd of January 2018. It's Monday. I think this is something that's important to point out. I did say that I would do something on geoengineering, and I think it's important to look at the flu virus that's been spreading around all over the place. I know that there's been really bad outbreaks in America where people are actually dying from this, and we have had outbreaks in Britain as well, and people are so, they're going to hospital. It's a really strong strain, and again, you could say that it's just natural, but with the deep state going down at the moment, you've seen the shutdown of the American government. They've just reopened again. If you've been having a look at Q, go and have a look at the latest Q posts. There's going to be a massive amount of arrests, a massive amount of information coming out this week based on the corruption, the New World Order corruption through President Obama, the Clinton Foundation, the FBI, people in the Department of Justice. This is a really big subject, and as they're going down, the deep state will keep sticking out false flags. They will try anything they can. They want World War III. So there was an operation called Operation Whitecoat in 1954 to 1973. It was a 19-year program where they used biological agents on 2,300 US Army soldiers. This was at the Biodefense Medical Research, and this was the Biomedical Research Program at Fort Detrick. Now, if you look at this operation, what they were actually doing is the human vulnerability to biological warfare aerosols. Now, keep in mind aerosols, not tested before the 1950s. In 1952, national leaders were unsure about human vulnerability to biological warfare and whether existing medical countermeasures would be effective under realistic scenarios using actual biological warfare agents. Now, you've got to understand, they may be looking for some type of vaccine to protect our own troops, but then obviously you could turn that around and use it as a weapon yourself. You want to look this up. It's quite easy to find. The objectives of the multifaceted CD22 were designed to determine, and if you look, determination of minimal infective doses. So if you're determining the minimal amount, you also know that that's the minimal value that you have to set to infect somebody. So therefore you can go beyond that to stronger doses, which is going to kill people basically. And so also the clinical effects of various doses of infectious agents. So this was all to do with the biological warfare, and you're talking right back the 1950s to the 1970s. They focused on human responses to the prototypes of Q fever. Now, Q fever would give you flu-like symptoms, onset of fever, profuse perspiration, headaches, muscle pain, joint pain, loss of appetite, respiratory problems, dry coughs, chills, confusion, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, leading to pneumonia. It would also lead to life-threatening acute respiratory disease syndrome, and that would turn up within the first 4 to 5 days. So it's fairly quick acting. And if you want to weaken your enemy, that's probably the best way to do it. Also, tularemia, if I can pronounce it properly, were regarded by CS of AFEB as acceptable prototypical biological warfare agents for testing in humans that satisfied limiting characteristics of low lethality, no serious chronicity anticipated, effective therapy available, and there was adequate animal experimental data on safety and protective efficiency. Now, that's nice, isn't it? Testing it on the animals as well. But tularemia was basically called rabbit fever, The symptoms were fever, skin ulcers, enlarged lymph nodes, and again results in pneumonia, and we know that pneumonia can be deadly. Now, this also mainly affects the young and middle-aged. Now, if you think about it, if you have a genocide program, what's best than to hit the young and the middle-aged so that people can't breed and have more babies? So it's the easiest to hit the younger people first, because the older people are going to die anyway. So, you know, if you've got a genocide program, this is absolutely perfect. The guy you might hear of a guy called Wendum. Now, if I can find this back here, where are we gone? There you go. The development of containment technology under Dr. Wendum. Now, I thought I'd look up this Dr. Wendum, so I just wondered, considering that the operation was between 1954 to 73, we know that Operation Paperclip brought across lots of Nazi scientists for all sorts of reasons, for rocket research and for biological warfare. So I thought I'd just look up this guy just to see whether or not, you know, he had anything to do with the Nazis. Now, here we go. Whenever you try and look, well, I try to look up. I'm not the best person to for searching for things, but no matter what I tried, I could not find anything on Arnold Wedum, I should say, not Wendum. There's one picture here, just the one picture, mind you, on Ancestry. And considering, when you think about it, there was, you know, a whole system set up. You know, he had a Distinguished Achievement Award, yet you can't find anything about him. And here's one more picture of him here, Arnold G Wedum. Now, the G stood for Gerhard. I'm no expert, but it does sound like a German name. But you just try finding anything. So I looked up anybody associated to him, maybe a wife or somebody like this, and I looked on insurancecheckmate.com, and apparently Arnold G Wedum was 115 years old, which just is not the case at all. And so possible relatives, Grace Wendum. So we look up Grace Wendum, and again can't find anything on Grace Wendum. Then Bertha Wendum, can't find anything on Bertha Wendum, and it's really bizarre. Now, I think the name Wedum could possibly be Norwegian. The Nazis did attack Norway. They set up base in Norway, and if you look at what Winston Churchill was saying here, he's saying Oslo was occupied by the Germans. They set up a puppet government under the leader of the Norwegian Nazi Party. So there was indeed a Norwegian Nazi Party. So there were sympathisers towards the Nazis. Now, whether or not this guy was Norwegian and he was one of the people that was taken from in Project Paperclip, I can't find any info. If you can find any info, please leave it down below, but I can find nothing on these people. Now, a good video to watch is this lady here. She is on the stopthecrime.net. I'm going to play you this little part of the video just so you can hear what she's got to say, because it's quite important.
18. Now understand, this is a fingerprintless scattering of bioweapons on the American population. Now, I have had this vetted with higher ups, and it's conclusive. This is part of the genocide program and the Rothschild and Rockefeller assault to transform the United States by all kinds of weapons systems, not only economic, but attacks with flus as well. So I wanted to read to you some of the sections out of the NASA war plan. This will be linked under this broadcast and on stopthecrime.net, which reveals the following and is being executed by the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, the CIA, FBI, Southern Command, Atlantic Command, Australian Department of Defense, and many others are involved in the NASA war plan. On page 51...
So, that gives you a little bit of an intro. Now I ask you, you should go and have a look at this. I will put a link down at the bottom. You need to be aware, Deep State they're in retreat. They're trying everything possible. So go and take a look at this, see what you think, leave comments below, and just basically search for anything on biological warfare attack via flu and various other agents. I think you'll find it very interesting. I just thought I needed to point that out at this moment in time. Thanks for listening. I hope you come back to UK Disclosure, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.